Hello Scruffy fam, we are going to take this Ruger American Standard in the plastic and make it better. Let's go. What's up guys, Joe here from the Scruffy fam. Hey, the 243 Winchester, a lot of people think of this as like a youth round or a beginner round, but did you know that it's a 6mm? And one of the most used competition, like for the PRS or NRL Hunter, is 6mm Creedmoor or 6.5 Creedmoor or 6 ARC. Some of those calibers, they use those because they're mild recoiling and it's easy to keep on target. Well, the 243 Winchester has taken countless deer and antelope over the years. This is a very, very effective cartridge. Now, this stock leaves a lot to be desired on this Ruger American. And I have the unique opportunity to upgrade it. We are going to put it in an MDT Oryx chassis. I'm not the first person to do this. It's actually not the first Oryx chassis I've had. I had my Mossberg Patriot Predator in 6.5 PRC in an Oryx chassis. I love the Oryx chassis. For an entry-level precision chassis system, it is great. And for a rifle that doesn't cost as much, I'm pretty sure that Oryx chassis costs as much as this rifle does on the shelf. So we don't want to invest $1,000 on a stock on a $400 rifle. That just doesn't make sense. So we are going to take this out of this stock. We're going to put it in the Oryx chassis. Then I'm going to mount an optic onto it. I'm going to explain to you guys why I'm putting everything on that I am, and explain the purposes and why I'm setting it up the way I am. So let's go to the bench and let's get started. Alright guys, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get this old stock off, so we just have the barreled action, less stuff on my workspace. So one of the really cool things about my vise is I have the Real Avid Master Vise, and you can, if you've got Arca rails, you can hook up your Arca rails to this, or it'll also lock onto the Picatinny rails. That will leave the barreled action right here, not a big deal. I am going to remove the magazine. So how these are put in here is there's two action screws right here that also keep the magazine in place. So I'm not even going to worry about taking the magazine out because it's all going to come out as one piece. So let me get my tools. Okay. I'm going to show you guys just how easy this is to do. So sometimes people think that you need to go to a gunsmith and get things fitted, and you know, as a budding gunsmith, I would say support your local shops as much as possible, please, but there are some things that you can do yourself. Now, I hope you saw how easy that was. I loosened up these two action screws, so here and here, two action screws. They should be tightened in there to about 60 to 65 pounds per square inch, which I know these are because I tightened them. So I'm going to keep these action screws off to the side. Take this magazine out, which will free the magazine well. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put this away, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so let's open up this Oryx box. So inside the box we get a sticker and the chassis with the instructions for the Ruger American. So right there on there it says Ruger American instructions. Move this box out of the way. So everything I'm seeing is very, very similar to what I did before on the Mossberg. This shouldn't be too difficult or take too long. Slide in, put in, install magazine latch. Yep. Okay, so let's free the pieces. Okay, pieces are freed, we want 60 inch-pounds. So that is doable. So these come with, when you get these, they have their own action screws, and they have these cool little plastic lugs on there to make sure that they stay in. So we're going to take those out. Alright, now let's put this thing on. Alright guys, the next thing to do is we drop this on. So they have integral or already installed V-blocks on here. So we're going to line those up, make sure everything is lined up nice and tight. Okay, lined up there. We're going to take our action screws, short one in the back, long one in the front. Alright, now we're going to take these to 60 pounds. 60 pounds. So how I'm going to do this is I'm going to go to 35 first. First. You may be thinking, wow, this seems really tight. It's not as tight as you would think. Alright, so that was 35. Now we're going to go all the way up to 60. There we go. Good. Alright, there's the 60 pounds. So the next thing we need to do is we need to install the magazine latch. The reason you install the magazine latch after is because the action screw is behind the magazine action latch. So it comes with all the parts. There's 3 pins and a spring. Okay, so when you install the magazine release here, you've got 3 pins, and they all feed off of each other. First, you put this little pin in, so there's a little pin that goes through here. This is going to be your initial lineup pin. So we put this pin in, and each pin feeds off the other. So as this pin goes in here, it holds everything in place, and it helps you get everything lined up. And you're going to end up pushing that pin out with a little bit bigger pin. You line that up. Alright, so I struggle bust getting that on, but we got it on. Now let's check and make sure our magazines work here while we're upside down. So this is the one for MDT. Alright, that goes in, releases, goes in, releases. This is a Magpul one. I'm curious to see if it functions. Goes in, releases, goes in, releases. So there you go, 2 different brands of magazines. Both of them work just fine. Okay, so we got all that done. Let's flip it around and let's go ahead and get our optic on. Okay guys, so we are going to put this Monstrum G2 6x24x50 scope on here. This thing was on my 1022 that we had set up to be a competition rig. So it's already leveled. All I really need to do is get the appropriate eye relief. Maybe asking, well, why'd you take it off of there to put on here? We'll talk about that here in a second. And make sure I have some decent eye relief. Okay. Scope is on. Alright guys, well, I hope you liked the video today. You got to see me install this Oryx chassis on the Ruger American 243. It's a great way to upgrade your Ruger American. If something happens to your stock, if you're just looking for something a little bit more rigid, if you're looking for something a lot more stable, this will definitely do it. The balance on this is right before the trigger well. I'm kind of happy with that. It's a much more ergonomical grip. It sets up for better fundamentals of marksmanship. I'm very excited to get my wife and my son out to the range shooting this. I believe that this will be a very nice platform, especially for the blind we hunt out of. This flat end here can sit on that, and so all my wife or son have to do is set that on there, get a good sight picture, and be able to pull the trigger. So guys, I hope you like what you're seeing. If you do, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, and we'll see you next time.